All right. Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome to Speedrun Saturdays, episode number 3. Today, we are having our very own GDQ task block, except for probably going to drink whatever I want and say whatever I want. That's not necessarily our gimmick, but I was going to do it anyways. But anyways, we have two handsome-looking gentlemen on screen with us. We have Shenanigans. If you want to go say hey to everybody, explain who you are.
Hello, everybody. I'm Shenanigans. I'm a Pokemon owner, mostly Gen 1 stuff, and I'm excited to watch Yellow TAS today.
And then we also have TIKevin83, who created this task.
Hello, yes, I'm TIKevin83. I work in the task spot team as one of the admins, picking out content to bring to events like GDQ, and we have Calithon later today. Around 8 p.m. TASBot's going to have a block for Calithon, so go help their charity. But for now, we're going to do my Yellow TAS. I do a lot of Gen 1 Pokemon Yellow and Red Blue tassing, especially in Glitchless, though a little bit of the other glitched runs too.
So before we even get into this, this is a Glitchless, but are we going to be seeing like anything that might be a little sus, might be actually kind of a glitch? If we're going to get into some heated debates here.
A lot of very sus things that are
Gen 1.
that are just barely flying under the rule set.
All right. I like it. But yeah, this is, I don't know if we even said before, this is going to be any percent glitchless. So this is going to be a bit longer than if we were doing save corruption and no save corruption, which I don't know how long those tasks are. I mean, I already know the other one's under a minute save corruption, but no save corruption. What time is that around?
Save corruption is like just over a minute.
Okay.
No save corruption is 9 minutes and 47 seconds.
Yeah,
wow.
sub 10 on no save corruption.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's a really cool route.
So we decided to do the one with a little bit more content.
Yeah, it's a good choice, I think.
For sure. Well, I mean, honestly, I don't have too much else to say until we get into this. Let's just go ahead and start this now. And I don't know if the task starts right. Yeah, it starts right away because.
Oh yeah, it starts right away.
Yeah. Okay. We'll just start the timer right away. And 3, 2, 1, go. Okay.
Yeah, this
cool.
is gonna get really off the wall really quick. There's like several glitches that we're setting up even right now as the task starts, because one of the things that happens with Pokemon tasks is that the RNG is always rolling from the start of the console. So we're already starting to like delay things and align the RNG to where we want it to be to get a really, really good Nidoran later in the grass. And you're going to see some really weird things happening with the rival name. Not the player name is just going to be a normal A.
Yeah.
But you're going to see some really weird stuff happening with the rival name that I'll explain in about 30 seconds.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Writing and then deleting characters in the rival name, because we still need the rival name to be short with that just A, so that later in the game he has a short name when all his name shows up over and over again. Every time you print a character of text, it causes a frame of delay, so you want very few frames of delay every time. But then right here, this is why we needed to write into the rival name before setting it as A, because we're going to see the screen wipe that does this in 2 halves instead of the full long wipe. And there's a bug in Gen 1 here, because in Pokemon Red it doesn't have the concept of having a like tutorial for catching or anything here. There's no encounter with Pikachu or any other Pokemon. So when they added it in Yellow, they forgot that you don't have a Pokemon yet, and it goes and tries to get your first Pokemon's level, which ends up reading from garbage data. And the place where the garbage data is happens to be the same place where your rival name is. So that writing data into the rival name gives you a faster animation.
So you did just all that work just for a slightly quicker animation.
10 frames.
Yes.
Wow.
That is what I like to hear. These are the kind of time saves I was expecting. Because, I mean, really, it's Pokemon. You're pretty much limited in your movement and everything. So it's stuff like that is pretty viable.
Yeah.
It makes sense to go for.
What I like about like Pokemon runs is a lot of the time save for tasks is like the creativity of stuff as well. Like coming up with like really creative stuff to save frames here and there.
Yeah, and Shen, you're going to see a little bit more of that here. You might be familiar with this one already, but the move Tackle is actually faster with the animation on than with the animation off. So we haven't touched our options menu yet, and we're using holding B to get.
I was about to ask, are you about to just get wrecked? Yeah. You
Double
are.
Gen 1 miss growl as well, because you don't, if you Gen 1 miss or if you miss a move, you don't have to watch the animation. So had to
Yes.
double Gen 1 miss growl so that you didn't have to watch the animation.
Yeah, and it specifically has to be Growl and not Thundershock that you Gen 1 miss, because the text for missing a move like Growl is "but it failed," which is way shorter than Thundershock missed.
Yeah. Wow,
That's so cool.
that was a really cool fight. And then obviously, since this is a tool-assisted speedrun, you probably don't even care about that XP that much.
No, we
We're
don't
not
use
using
the XP at
Pikachu,
all.
of course.
Right. Oh, that's
Brock made
right.
it hard.
Yeah.
It actually, we do use Pikachu for one fight, and he dies as a part of like a sacrifice,
Oh,
in the
yeah, I
fight,
guess that makes sense.
which we're gonna see in a minute. But it ends up not mattering. Like if you get the level, it doesn't let you kill the fight any faster. So.
Right, yeah, you don't hit any more ranges.
Yep. But really, the reason that we choose to lose that fight and not win it is that we want later in the game to have a Ninetales in the opponent's party, because Ninetales has quick attack, which can then be used to set up red bar without losing entire turns. Because we can just make the quick attack hit us first and then finish off the Pokemon.
Yeah, the rivals team is different based off of how you win the rival battles. So if you fight the Verdian rival and you like win both fights, you get, is that when you get Jolteon if you win both?
Yeah.
And then if you lose both, you get Vaporeon. If you win one, or I think if you win the Verdian one, you get Flareon. It's like really weird.
Just interjecting there, that we just saw the option set right there, and we were able
was
to
insane.
all of our options at once.
That's
by pressing
crazy.
Left at the same frame that you press A to open the options menu. This is a trick I found a couple of years ago, and it's crazy. But it has a side effect though, that the audio for the whole rest of the game is going to use earphone 3 instead of the default mono audio, and it's going to sound awful, and I'm very sorry for that.
What?
Yeah,
You
it is
monster.
faster. Yeah.
And then obviously it's faster to talk to Oak from behind. Well, in this game especially because you have Pikachu.
Yeah, and Pikachu gets in the way of the rival if you don't go all the way behind. If you like go to the side is the same speed in red though.
Mhm.
Yeah, red, blue, it literally doesn't matter, but in yellow you do have to do behind. That's why you see a lot of yellow runners who are running red still talk to Oak from behind. They're just kind of used to the movement.
I noticed that. I was watching
And through all of
Meat
this, we're doing
this.
what we call YOLO grass to go through like
Yeah.
the optimal grass to not get encounters.
Yeah. It is tool assisted, so like all the RNG stuff, it's not like you can't just like do anything at any moment, but you like almost can, because you might have to wait like a certain amount of frames for like the correct luck.
Yeah.
And if you have to wait too many frames to do something, then it might become slower. So
So there, I don't think there's anything like that in this TAS anymore, where like we're going for a slower strategy. But yeah, like in some of the TASs of these Gen 1 games, things can become so rare that it's faster to do something that's slightly less optimal, just because the RNG is so difficult to find.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Also, this is literally impossible. You cannot have a full health Rattata 3 shake break in Gen 1. Old Man is clearly cheating or not throwing Pokeballs. The shakes are based off of the catch rate, and Rattata would be 33%, so it should shake twice and break.
And then we used a path searching bot to find this path to walk and get the Nidoran here.
Oh, okay.
Very nice. It's so weird that they do 2 catch tutorials in this game.
Yeah, like there's 0 or 1. Do you have to talk to the old man? In,
You don't
like,
have
Optional
to.
in red, blue, yeah.
Yeah, it goes from 0 to 2 in red to yellow.
They're giving you the extra that you missed in red, blue. But like, here, have 2. Figure it out. So how are the stats on this Nidoran? I assume,
It actually is a little bit different from RTA. We still get perfect attack and near perfect speed and perfect special, but we want really low defense because having lower defense lets us get red bar faster.
Makes
yeah,
sense.
I kind of figured that'd be the case. The high HP is actually kind of interesting. You might think you want like lower HP so you get to red bar faster, but red bar is a percentage of your hit points, so having higher hit points gives you a better threshold.
You had to go for the Pidgeotto.
And this is neat.
Yes. This is also manipulated, so we have to run like a path search algorithm to find a Pidgeotto in the forest with the right stats to be able to kill it in the right amount of time, and so that it can kill Pikachu and set up red bar on Nidoran.
Oh, that's pretty sick. Okay.
Oh, we're not doing
that
Ash
makes a lot of
percent?
sense.
Oh,
No,
crap.
We could catch the Pidgeotto, but Turns out having Nidoran is even better.
Yeah, so I'll mention
Wow.
that's amazing, getting straight to 1 hit point.
Wow. Okay, so we have red bar now.
Actually.
It's not quite as useful as you'd hope because in wild encounters, you don't skip jingles at the end of the battle. So we still had to go through the level up and the horn attack learn jingles.
Oh, I see. But yeah, Pikachu's no longer
so much better than any other option.
Yeah.
We don't have him following us.
Weird quirk with yellow as well is like the different like bars. So there's red bar, there's yellow bar, and there's like green bar. Which one's the laggy one? Is it the yellow bar?
The green one actually is the least laggy. Sorry. Yeah, you were right. The yellow and red ones have a little bit of lag when they load because they like load as green and then it has to switch the palettes for them to red and yellow.
So you want to be at either like full health or low health. Low health to skip like level up jingles, and then high health to not have the lag. So it's really interesting how you have to be at like these certain HP thresholds, and that's something to like kind of watch for throughout the run.
Yeah.
This game's pretty laggy in comparison to blue and red, right?
Oh yeah, and we're gonna see a lot of little micro optimizations related to that to reduce color lag. So things like we're going to on several fights avoid ever getting into red or yellow bar, so that we go like we hit something once, it'll stay in green bar, and then we'll drop it all the way from green to nothing. But here we need to get a Pidgey in the forest because Pidgey has the fastest cry to use as a flyer.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
I wouldn't have even thought about that. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's either Pidgey or Spearow. So those are like the two real options for flyer. I guess Pidgeot though you could catch the TAS, but yeah, Pidgey's got the fastest cry in the game, which makes it really good for fly.
Yeah, and this fight here you actually see happen every like once in a blue moon in RTA because you can spam horn attack on this fight and randomly crit it twice. But in TAS, we can also guarantee that we crit it twice. And you can see more of the string shot fails being used for that quick button fail text.
Yeah.
Isn't it like a 25% chance for those fail, or are those like much rarer?
Yeah, 25 for status moves used against the player. So, and that includes some weird stuff as well. I think that even like body slam paralysis becomes like 25% less. Like all kinds of like
the
weird
side
stuff.
effects of like offensive damaging moves that have like a bubble beam speed fall also are affected by that 25%.
Yeah, so that's why like bubble beam speed fall isn't like 30%, it's 22 or something like that.
And then in the RTA like speedrunners here, we use Leer on the Diglett because it's inconsistent to get 2 turns if you horn attack and then tackle it. So what you do here is you just crit it because you don't.
Diglett go bye-bye.
Yeah. Who needs to worry about Leers if you're TAS and can just control critting everything?
Was that a low roll scratch as well? I feel like
no, that's a regular 5 damage scratch still.
Okay.
But this is one of my favorite fights in the whole TAS on the Sandshrew now.
Oh my goodness.
Because you have to 1 in 39. So the damage, I'll explain quick. There's this 85 to 100% damage roll. So that hitting that exact 100% of the maximum damage is a 1 in 39 chance because of the way the 8-bit math works out. And so the combination of critical hit and getting the maximum amount of damage is always like 1 in 390.
Yeah.
Until we get the later evolutions where our speed gets faster, because base speed is what determines your crit rate.
Yeah, your base speed divided by 510 is your chance to critical. Something else probably to mention is with those like 1 in 39 rolls, usually what we mean by that is when damage is calculated, like one of the damages will do 1 damage more than like most of the other ones. There's usually like a couple values, and there's literally like one value does 1 more damage.
Yeah. So
Crit.
These hits here are designed to never hit Onyx into the red range, because if it did, it would cause a palette transition that would lose 5 frames.
Of course.
Went from yellow to dead. That's really cool, like seeing that throughout the run. Having to like plan around that for like every fight.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't even notice it if we didn't have this commentary just pointing it out. Like I wouldn't have even thought about a palette.
And up to this point, we're already like saving a huge chunk of the total like time over the real-time run. Because so much of the time save is just in like having to not worry about things in the setup process for like at the end it's similar to like you just like absolutely bonkers Nidoking that just destroys everything.
Mm-hmm.
But in the beginning, there's more of a like gap between being able to crit everything and not being able to just crit on command.
Yeah, even like setting up manip as well, that takes some time and all that sort of stuff.
Mhm.
Have to play around safety too. When you know things are gonna go well for you, you can just sit at 7 HP and click horn attack.
Just crit.
That is a 1 in 39 crit, so
Mhm.
you almost never see
Dang.
that in RTA.
Yeah. Weedle goes down a lot easier.
Yes. And then this stinks. There's no way to get rid
Yeah.
of that level up through red bar there.
That's interesting.
Mainly because we want the quick attack from the Rattata to be what we take damage from on the next fight. You can also take damage from the Caterpie at the beginning of this fight, but then you don't kill it in one turn. So there's this trade-off between like, do we intentionally lose turns to take damage, or do we lose that level up jingle?
Yeah. It's better to lose half the turn on the Rattata by watching quick attack than lose the full turn on the Caterpie. Even though you're gonna lose, it's like what, 10 frames total for having yellow bar for 2 fights?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And now we're at really low red bar here.
Yeah, it's really nice being super deep in red bar. You can get like 3 or 4 levels before you hit yellow bar.
Mhm.
Oh, that was cool. So hit the Ekans into red bar so that you never saw the yellow bar as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because you couldn't Oko it there.
Yeah, and then we use double kick to finish it off because double kick is a shake animation instead of the flash animation from horn attack, and that saves like 50 frames anytime that comes up.
That's actually when I was learning Red, I was surprised at how huge that actually was. Just using maybe Poison Sting over
Yeah,
another
even
move.
with the not very effective text, it's still faster.
Wow.
It's the shake moves are moves that have like secondary effects. So anything that can like burn, paralyze, moves with like weird mechanics, like double kick hits twice, so that can have like a secondary effect. I think it's anything that has like a text box that could appear after the move has the shake animation.
That Caterpie is a 1 in 39 not crit, and like you also have to manipulate not critting at certain times, right?
That's
Because
really cool.
Yeah.
getting the crit text box is slow.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, because of the Pidgeotto strat, we do not get Nidorino after that previous fight because you get 9 less experience from the Pidgeotto, and that's just enough to knock you below the threshold to get Nidorino. But we don't really care that much because we can still just like crit things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the RTA route fights the first bug catcher. He has, I think, 2 Caterpies in yellow. So you fight him and get roughly the same XP as Pidgeotto, but not quite.
Did they fix instant text in this game?
Yes.
Damn.
We will not be seeing instant text.
That's probably the closest thing to a glitch, quote unquote, that we use in the glitchless run.
Yeah. There's a couple things that you're gonna miss out at watching this one. You get all these extra cool things in the beginning with the like tackle animations and that animation in the Pikachu catch scene, but you miss out on the instant text because instant text plus red bar forever is hilarious.
Yeah.
And you also miss out on there's a fight in Rock Tunnel where you intentionally thunderbolt Geodudes so that they use self-destruct on you, and Gen 1 missed the self-destruct.
What?
Bubble Beam PP.
Oh my. That's
Self-destruct's
crazy.
actually really fast too, because you don't have to watch the HP bar like draining. It just drops. It just like they instantly go down.
Yeah, it just disappears.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it looks like we're skipping a bunch of items here.
Yeah, you don't
And no
need rare
candy.
candies and TAS because you can crit everything. So
Right.
the idea of getting rare candies just for like a little bit extra damage isn't that useful.
Now, are you A pressing here? It looks like you are, but it's hard to tell.
Yes, every once in a while. I think there's like 3 or 4 on the first floor, and then the TAS gets like lucky for a TAS and doesn't have to
Okay.
A press very much after that.
That's pretty nice. Yeah, so what we're talking about with an A press is if when you're walking around in Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, if you hit the A button while you're walking around in the overworld, your character will like delay for 2 frames. We use it during a lot of manipulations to like line up our RNG better, because you know if you're walking through Mount Moon and you know you're about to get an encounter, you can hit the A button and then delay yourself from getting onto that tile at the right time and skip the encounter. So hitting the A button is a good way to do that.
Yeah, and it almost always means that you don't get another encounter for a long time again, because the encounter rate's really low in Mount Moon.
Yeah. It's
Wait,
like
there isn't a dude
10,
standing there?
kinda.
Not in yellow. There's
That-
2 fights because they removed that fight and add the Jesse and James fight.
The whole time you're walking up there, I'm like, oh, he's gonna run right into this. Oh no, it just didn't come up.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
can see we're not actually below 20% here. We're at 10 out of 49, but some rounding lets us still be in red bar. And that's why that Rattata quick attack strat works out so well.
Yeah, that was also really cool keeping the Grimer in green bar and using tackle, which is less characters than horn attack, saving a couple frames. So pretty cool to figure that fight out. It was definitely some cool routing.
And then your cursor is still on horn attack later for this coughing, where you actually need to use the horn attack first because you don't want to go back. It's a 7-frame cost to go down to tackle, then back up to horn attack. So
Really?
when you're finishing the fight, you usually don't worry about that switching earlier.
Yeah, after this,
the
I'm gonna.
menuing around in the battle menu is 7 frames per tick. You need to move around.
Really? I'm gonna start being so self-conscious about my menuing now. I'm like, oh, I could have saved 2 frames there. What am I doing? What am I doing?
Menuing is cool in runs. You have to get really quick. Okay, I'm going straight to this move. Is down down A, and you have to do it really quickly.
Yeah, we could bring that up because there's a strategy called double input that you'll see a little bit in the TAS here, where you can hit down and then alternate the right and left buttons to reapply the down button. And in RTA, you can do that in some scenarios, but you don't usually do it for really long stretches because it's difficult to hit so many successive, really quick manipulations.
Is it possible to get those by accident, or would you have to get through those inputs? Because I feel like I've done that before, but I didn't know how.
Yeah, exactly. It's very easy to accidentally do it if you're not very practiced with the game.
Yeah.
But in the TAS, you'll see, in the fly menu, we're just gonna stream down the inputs incredibly quickly.
Probably doing the bike menu as well. There's a couple menus that you'll probably see it in.
Yeah. Now here, there's another fun thing that's different in blue, because in red blue, there's a bit here where you cut over from the route to the city route. And when that happens, if you open your menu and do some menuing, all of the jingles will be overwritten by the map transition. But that doesn't affect yellow.
Oh, look at the swag PC.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, doesn't that lose frames, or can you do it?
It is a entertainment trade-off.
Oh,
you took the frame loss.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I intentionally took frame losses to swag a few things.
Okay.
For the entertainment.
For some reason, I thought swag PC saved, but it was swag boulder for sure lost.
Swag boulder ends up being fun because you can use it like the A presses to cause delays that change the RNG.
Oh,
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Oh, that's.
Oh yeah, Misty first as well. Oh
yeah,
my
and
goodness.
we did have to deposit Pikachu, so we were able to kill off Pikachu earlier, which would have let us skip a bunch of cutscenes just by having him not be alive. But we have to deposit him because we need to use the center to set our dig waypoint from Vermilion later.
Makes sense.
And then he would be alive again.
In some Pokemon games, just entering the center is good enough to set your warp point, but in Gen 1, you actually have to use the center. But it's also nice because you get all the horn attacks back. I think you're literally out when you exit Mount Moon.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, doing this gym at level 18.
Yeah, this is really ridiculous. You would never be able to do this as a human.
No, you cannot.
Even with Nidoking.
Usually
Nidoking,
yeah, I was gonna say, we usually do Nugget Bridge first.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Misty, there's a lot of reasons you want to be, for RTA runs, you want to be level 25 specifically for Misty, because it does so many different things. You have a chance to outspeed, you have a much favorable range to one-hit the Staryu and two-hit the Starmie. In this, level 18, we'll just get 4 criticals with Horn Attack and dodge some Bubble Beams. No big deal. I was going to say, I don't even think that's going to kill.
We take Water Gun here first because we need to combine it with one of the damage ranges from Bubble Beam to get to the lowest red bar possible. Bubble Beam either does too much or too little damage on its own to get us to 1
Yeah.
HP.
I
But
thought you were
then-
gonna go with water gun critical from the Starmie, but it makes sense to take the water gun and the bubble beam there.
Yeah, there's still some like wiggle room with that not being quite precise enough.
Oh, interesting.
But we do kill it in 3 turns, and we get some Gen 1 misses for water gun from the Starmie.
That's
Specifically
crazy.
Water gun for the 1 frame faster than
Yes,
bubble
for the 1 frame faster decks.
Wow.
So stupid.
That's
It's nice
that's
that lined
unreal.
up too, because even if you had to wait like a single frame.
Oh
to,
yeah,
like,
no, like that's totally an accident that that's that optimal
cool.
because if I got a bubble beam Gen 1 miss enough frame of delay, I would have taken that.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I can't believe you teach over Horn Attack. That's so crazy to me.
Yeah.
But I guess it makes sense because Bubble Beam's a shake animation, so you're gonna
Yeah.
be using that on everything instead of Horn Attack.
Yeah, because bubble beam critting will be better than horn attack non-critting just because of the shake versus flash animations.
Yeah. That's really interesting to go with straight up Bubble Beam.
Yeah.
What a
And you want to
tune.
teach in slot 1 too.
Yep, you want to teach it right into slot 1 so that you don't have to move moves around.
Yeah. There's probably a lot of planning about that as well, like what move you put into what slot.
For sure.
I know for the speed run, I think Thunderbolt usually gets the slot 3 treatment because you use it pretty rarely, but
Mhm.
it'll be interesting to see in the TAS what goes into which position.
Yeah, because you have bubble beam already, you don't have to worry about the Sandshrew at all.
Yeah.
Whereas in RTA, it like ruins half the runs you get to the bridge.
Yeah, I think this is like the most people in Yellow's least favorite fight in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
had
this is a
something.
1 in 39 crit type scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Be able to 1-kick shake the Eevee.
Yeah. It's also interesting seeing this fight because you're like higher leveled too than you would be in RTA.
Mhm.
So a lot of these fights will even be easier.
The Nugget Bridge here does start to get a little bit monotonous. In the blue run, you see some crazy things like on the rival fight, poison stinging the Abra is a 1 in 39 crit, which is it's
Oh wow.
crazy that kills.
Yeah, you don't have any other shake moves in red and blue other than Poison Sting at that point, so you gotta go for it if it can kill. Or wait, no.
Yeah, why not
you get
Bubble Beam?
first.
Yeah, you still
You-
get Bubble Beam there, but
yeah,
you
you get
use Poison Sting for some like special versus attack based reasons.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Abra's pretty bulky, especially in Gen 1, just because special is 1 stat. Probably see a quick attack at some point from either Pidgey or Rattata. Get
Yep.
a little bit deeper into Red Bar.
Yeah, the way the red bar routing works out here, it's best to get a quick attack from the Rattata on the next fight, and then again from the Raticate in Vermilion. And then those 2 hits are the only manipulation of your HP you need to get all the way to the heal pad at the Lavender
Oh.
Tower.
Yeah,
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
it's kind of
that-
interesting.
yeah. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, go. You go ahead. You.
Oh, all I was gonna say is that like that's all the way through SSN. That's through the Surge. That's
Rock
so
Tunnel,
far.
All the Rock Tunnel fights, the Gambler,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
like half of the Lavender Tower because you have the rival fight and then 2 channelers. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna mention there's only I think 3 heals that we do at like center. So you heal in Cerulean when you get here to set your warp point. You get the free heal in Lavender Tower, and you're gonna, I assume, heal at some point in Celadon.
Yes,
So-
this tab does do that. In red, the time loss from having to set up red bar again makes it such that you can never effectively center in Celadon.
Mm-hmm.
Because in red blue, the red bar mechanic overrides the jingles when you enter the battle, but in yellow, it only overrides the jingles when Pokemon die. It's like 2/3 of a second it saves every time a Pokemon leaves battle.
Yeah, there's like a little sound effect. It's like choo, which the Pokemon like falls off the screen. I think that's
Yeah.
the whatever you call it, the sound that gets saved.
Yeah.
You also
There's a
skip level up jingles, right? That's the
Yes,
other
and
big
that's
thing.
also skip level up jingles for yellow, which is super nice.
Yeah, unless they're at the end of the battle, I think, or does that still skip them in yellow?
And you'll see here it's overriding a
Oh.
bunch of Thrash. There's a whole bunch of jingles when you try to learn Thrash. It's
Mhm.
way faster.
Yeah, that kind of zoomed.
In the regular run, you have to rare candy up to the level to get Thrash because you really want to rush it out there. And
Yeah.
then it's not in battle, so you would never possibly get Red Bar.
How much does Thrash save by not having to go through the menu?
Like learning it in battle like that. For
No,
like
I'm
20
saying that when you're using it, since you don't have to press like fight and another move.
Oh, yeah. So you'd think it would save a ton of time, but it actually doesn't because there's this wind up you'll see here.
Yeah.
Just because
It's
of that.
actually mostly used just because it overrides crits. Like you don't need to crit with
Yeah.
it very often.
Okay.
So if you would not need to crit a regular move like Bubble Beam for 3 turns, it's actually slightly faster to use Bubble Beam for all 3 of those turns. And we end up using Thrash mostly for the PP management, where it only uses 1 Thrash PP to kill 3 things.
Makes sense.
Here's our Pokemon that will learn Dig, or is it Dig and Cut in this game? I think it learns Dig in yellow, right?
In yellow and red blue TAS, the Pokemon that you have here, it's Charmander, and then in red blue it's Sandshrew. You teach it Dig, Cut, and Strength. However, in red blue you actually don't teach it Dig either, because in red blue you buy escape ropes in
Right.
because
Yeah, I
you
forgot
need to
about
have
that.
an escape rope already at Bill's house.
Yeah.
And you don't want to take all the extra walking, like I was saying, with you don't need to get the rare candy in Mount Moon. So you also don't want to pick up that escape rope. So you actually just go in and buy all the escape ropes you need for the entire run in Pewter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
But in yellow, we don't need to escape out of Bill's house. And it's actually slower to use escape rope over Dig. So we teach Dig in
Yeah.
yellow.
Use it in yellow.
And you can buy all those escape ropes because you're not buying any potions anyways.
Exactly.
Or extra
In an
balls
RTA
or
run,
anything.
You would never be able to do that because you don't have enough money to not
Yeah.
buy potions.
You have to buy like 8 potions, which is about 5 escape ropes, so. It's so interesting that you actually use Thrash for these fights, but yeah, it does make sense that Bubble Beam critting is kind of slow.
Oh, and we do
And,
this
and,
fight
and
instead.
running out of the PP, it's not worth like the 5 seconds to pick up the Max Ether and use it versus just like a couple frames here and there when you would use Thrash instead.
You might see Bubble Beam here. I wouldn't be shocked. Ah, Bubble Beam non-crit would kill the Rattata, but would need to critical the Ekans and again the PP management. I guess yeah. The next heal is gonna be the tower, so yeah, Bubble Beam is gonna matter quite a bit. You have to save those for some of the like rock types that you have to fight throughout this.
Yeah, and it just works out that in red blue you end up you get thrashed a lot later because you get less experience from previous fights. So you had to use Bubble Beam more, and then you're completely out of Bubble Beams for the hiker.
Yeah, the hiker and maybe the Cubone.
Yeah, we're also manipulating things like the Pidgey not to quick attack us when it doesn't help.
Yeah.
There's a ton of manipulation going on even in these like more traditional fights where it just looks like you're thrashing for 3 turns.
Okay, we do grab the ether.
Pickpocketer.
We do still actually grab his ether, yes.
Yeah, it's interesting how much how much worth you can get out of like ethers and elixirs, because if they let you skip a center, it's quite a bit of time save. And pretty big difference between red, blue, and yellow is you can't dig out of Bill's house. In red, blue, nice swag PC there.
Yes, this is swag cell separator.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. But yeah, you can't dig out of here, so that's why you don't need to pick up the rope in Mount Moon, because you're just gonna walk out of here. And it's actually kind of nice doing Misty first as well, because you can just walk right to the dig rocket.
Yep, you don't have to use the usual like ledge jumping and then walking around the second
Oh
time.
yeah.
You save one time in movement.
Yeah, it saves like even more time than you would think doing Misty early, because the movement's like significantly better. That's got to be at least maybe like 10 seconds. I can only imagine if Nidoking learned Dig. It's so insane that it can't. It learns like Blizzard, Thunder.
It makes no sense. It has
What?
hands. A bunch of stuff that doesn't have hands learns Dig, and Nidoking has hands, and it can't dig. The lore on this is so off.
Yeah. I'll never get it.
But we get through the rocket fight here pretty effectively. The thrashes here at lower levels are actually like ranges, because usually you'd be 25 already here with all the rare candies you go pick up.
This is like a 1 in 39, right? On the Machop?
It's a pretty rare range, yeah, to hit those. The extra, whenever you hit the level, Shen knows this, it's like 3, 5, and 8, I think.
Yeah.
When you hit the like certain level cutoffs, the way the rounding works out, you get huge boosts to the amount of damage you do.
Yeah, 0, 3, 5, and 8. If your level ends in any of those numbers, then you will have slightly more damage due to how the rounding works. So, like, if you're level 24, or let's say you use 25 and 26, being level 26, you won't deal that much more damage than 25, because 25 gets that bonus. But 25 does a lot more damage than 24, because you have the level and the bonus.
Wow.
So some level ups matter a lot more than others. That's why you do Misty at 25. You get like a pretty big boost from 24, and it makes the fight significantly better for RTA runs.
Yep, and that full restore pickup there is something that you use in RTA too. We're needing to pick up these items like this because we need to fill up our bag. There's a couple of concerns with not having as many X items that you need to use, because you can things like you don't need X accuracies because you can choose any whenever you hit a move. So
X accuracies being extremely broken.
Yeah, so X accuracy in Gen 1, the RTA run needs to use it because it needs to force Horn Drill to go from 30% accurate to 100% accurate. And it's not even affected by Gen 1 miss. It's straight up 100% accurate because it removes the accuracy check entirely. But in TAS, you don't have to worry about whether or not you're going to miss a move, because you can always choose whether or not Horn Attack hits the 30%. Or not Horn
Must
Attack,
be nice. Yeah. I wish I could do that. Just hit.
Yeah, so like this junior trainer fight here, if we had enough bubble beams, we'd have bubble beamed it 3 turns, but we don't have enough PP with our management, so we thrash it.
Yeah, it's really cool to see like the PP routing. I think once you get Thunderbolt, that's probably gonna change at least a couple fights, because you'll be able to use that similar to Bubble Beam, because Thunderbolt's a shake move.
And it has way higher like base power, so you can do a ton of damage with a Thunderbolt crit, even though Nidoking is not exactly known for its ability to use special moves versus its offensive capabilities of attack.
It's interesting you go to 3 hit points. I guess that's enough to keep Red Bar.
Yeah, it's just a swag thing. Like we don't need to get hit any lower.
Okay.
That's kind of cool. Yeah, so you're forced to get a free heal when you get to... Well, not forced. You could do an extra fight to skip the heal pad in Lavender Tower, but the extra fight's going to be slower.
Oh,
so you're like forced to heal there.
Yeah. There is a strategy that is not used in Yellow because Red Bar isn't useful enough. It's not worth immediately trying to get it back, but in Red Blue, you thrash a Ghastly intentionally to get hit 4 times by Nightshade to get Red Bar back instantly, because it's so valuable. And taking that extra fight going around the heal pad is slower than 4 turns of thrashing a Ghastly for no reason.
So do we get? I guess we don't get the Mew truck here, or?
Yeah, Shen, come on. We should be getting a Mew right now.
Yeah, teach it all the HMs. It would be way faster than catching Pidgey and getting that Charmander.
Well, we call them HM butlers now.
Yeah.
HM butlers. We call them HM friends usually, but yeah, that's great. HM butlers.
Yeah, butlers has been catching on recently.
I stole that from your Speedlock commentary.
Yeah, that's great. It sadly reminds me of a terrible Artemis Fowl Disney movie, though, because they ruined all the characters. And
I loved it as a kid.
Boy. Yeah.
I can't believe Thrash took out that Sandshrew. That thing
and this Eevee, like the thrashing that Eevee is a 1 in 39 to kill it without a crit.
Oh wow! Yeah, I was gonna say that was surprised. I thought I was gonna crit on the Eevee.
Yeah.
All right, I'm actually not sure if you get the jingle in Yellow from Cut. I think you still don't, right?
No, you don't. Yeah.
Okay.
So here at the end of all this, we're gonna be able to clear the text fast enough to avoid getting a jingle out of Cut.
Yeah, so right here, if you clear this text box fast enough, you don't get a jingle for getting the HM. And I think it's based off your name length, right?
Yeah, it's a like side effect. They don't expect you to be naming things A, so when they tested this,
Yeah.
I'm sure that like never ran into that scenario.
I've
Yeah.
never had the jingle play there. Actually, I didn't even know there was one.
Yeah, so if you like are a short enough name, I don't know how many characters you need to be. You can close the text box fast enough to not get the jingle.
I think it's with the full story we caught earlier.
Yeah, the full restore as well, because if your name is too long, it has to, like, if, you know, if my name was like Shenanigans or whatever, it would have to show the name and then say picked up a full restore. But if your name is A, it saves like the 8 frames or whatever, and I think you have a 5-frame buffer to pick up the
I'm gonna jump in here quick, sorry, Shen. We had to do a manipulation on the boat to set up the cans, because the point at which the cans are in Surge's gym is actually with when you enter Vermilion City.
Oh, what?
Cool.
Yeah, so we had to
No
already
idea.
set up the can manip for where we want our first and second cans.
All
Were
the
you,
way
like,
through
hitting
there.
buttons during that, or how are you setting up the RNG during that?
Delays and changes in like the walk pattern. You can even just like change the places you turn, and so you see NPCs at different points, and that will just slightly change the RNG.
Yeah, so similar to a current manip.
So we don't need to do a save and quit reset because we were able to manipulate that from leaving the SSN.
Yeah, I better see a swag surge can. Come on.
No, I did run into that though in TAS though, where if you try to like click the can to the right side too quickly, you'll swag the first can that you clicked again.
Mm-hmm. And Surge in yellow, one Raichu, and he learned about people just bringing a ground type and taught it Mega Kick and Mega Punch. So, got a lot smarter in this game.
This fight's pretty hard to manipulate because you have to manipulate the Raichu choosing to use the move Growl in the same time that you're hitting some really like difficult ranges with the Thrashes.
Yeah, I'm surprised that 2 hit.
And that's
I think
all he
that's
has.
only a 3-shot. Yeah, just the Raichu.
It's more cannon.
Yeah, it kind of is, honestly. And that is a great TM for the rest of this run, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Getting a lot of use out of Thunderbolt, I'm sure.
Yeah, it gets used up until we need to overwrite it when we get Fissure, I believe.
Yeah. And this guy.
Yep. But hey, all this text smashing is perfect.
That's true, yeah. This is the fastest I've ever seen someone get the bike voucher. That was impressive. The amount of times I've been like item fool in a randomizer when I talk to him, it's so awful.
Oh no, yeah, because you have to go through all the text
You
and
have to
figure out
talk to
your
him
full
again, yeah.
Oh,
And you
Wait.
can't dig out of there in yellow if you're wondering why he's going to Diglett
Okay.
Cave.
that answers my question. Thank you.
Yeah, it's another building that they for some reason changed, so you have to go to Diglett's Cave to dig back to Cerulean.
Yep.
It's weird they like changed a bunch of the buildings to not be dig outable, because I think they left the gyms. I think Sabrina's gym and Blaine's gym you can still dig out of in yellow.
We manipulate the girl to walk down there so she doesn't walk up into our path, so we can buffer a pressing to talk to the shady salesman.
It's pretty nice, honestly. Was that a right-left buffer there to get down to the bike?
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that scroll is way faster than you'd see in RTA because every frame you go down, it also like cancels. There's this like wind up if you just like hold the down button at the beginning, and if you do the left-right buffering, you don't get that wind up.
Yeah, it's kind of like if anyone here is a classic Tetris fan. It's like a DAS player versus a Hyper Tapper. With DAS, you have to like hold down. It like takes a second before it goes up to full speed. But if you like mash down, or in this case, you hold down and mash left, right, based off how fast you hit left and right, it'll just scroll that fast. So you can scroll way faster by mashing quickly. There's a couple RTA runners that do that too, which is cool to see.
In this Oddish fight here, we have to manipulate the length of our Thrash at the beginning of the fight. This is the first time where Thrash for 4 turns becomes relevant. Well, also, it was relevant on the boat rival fight here, where it's not usually relevant in RTA. But in TAS, we have to manipulate the length of the Thrash when we use Thrash initially. So we have to watch some specific RAM values for the Thrash length.
Yeah, it's just 50% of its 3 or 4 turns, so it has to be manipulated, especially for this fight. Because reselecting the move is slow and being confused is slow.
Oh yeah.
Especially if you hit yourself.
It's too bad we don't go fight the Sandshrew that randomly has Fissure on this route.
Yeah, dude, that I had to fight that for Yellow 129, and I learned about Fissure. I didn't check the moveset first.
Yeah, there's some like fun lore stuff in this game that they added.
Yeah.
And one of the things is that there's a Sandshrew trainer on this route that has a Fissure. It has a custom moveset like all the gym leaders, just to give it.
It's like so random and.
That is weird.
It's so scary.
This Venonat is a range that we don't have to worry about because we're TAS.
Yeah. That thing's lived many a time for me.
And this is where the first time we tried to do a yellow glitchless TAS desync, we got 57 minutes in, and we had to rewrite the emulator to fix the desync.
Oh yeah,
that's
I don't
rough.
know what the fuck that was.
It was something like an extra frame leaking in VBlank. It'd be too complicated to explain in the course of a stream environment.
Maybe a TED talk on it eventually.
Yeah, you know, like one of those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, I figured. Oh, you swap Bubble Beam to the top. That's really cool. So, swapping it to the top, I wonder what the idea there is, because you'll probably be teaching Ice Beam over it, right?
Yeah, we can swap so fast in TAS that there's little sections where we swap moves to have them be first for a while, and then swap them back because we want something else to be used first for a while.
Okay, yeah. So let's say it takes like 50 frames to like swap the move, but
It's like 14.
What?
Okay, so
Really?
14 frames to swap the move. That's way less than I thought, and that's I think 7 frames per use or something.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's actually kind of.
You can make that back easy.
Yeah. So if you use a move 3 times, it's worth switching it to the top.
Yeah, in TAS, you would be very hard pressed to figure out that quick.
Not in RTA.
Yeah, that would be really rough.
Yeah,
I didn't
my
realize
game's
how crazy you can make the menuing in this game until I saw the task. Like, and when I try to do it, like just one input at a time.
Yeah. It'd be
This
cool,
is another
like,
fight you're really happy to be able to control ranges.
Oh yeah, this
You get
fight's like
paralyzed
awful.
all the time in RTA.
Luckily, you're level 28 at least, but even at level 30, that fight's or 29, I think, is when that fight's really scary. So being a level lower is a little bit threatening for that, especially with sleep powder. All right, I'm excited for this fight, but I'm probably not going to be that excited. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I always like seeing this fight in TAS because there's so many like cool ways you can do it, but I think you still have enough bubble beams.
Yeah, this is sadly where it's the yellow TAS and not the blue TAS.
I'm so disappointed. You have 5 bubble beams left. Darn.
Yup.
Unfortunate. This fight's gonna be very standard.
We were talking about where in blue you spam thunderbolts on them to get them to self-destruct.
Yeah.
And then the HP bar instantly disappears instead of scrolling down slowly.
It's a bit slower than KOing them with bubble beam, but if you don't have any bubble beams, then it's faster than not having any move that even hits them.
Right.
So.
You also in Red Blue you fight the Muck on Koga, and you can elixir on Muck to restore your PP and not have to worry about doing that like outside of battle or like in a PC or something.
And last fight of Rock Tunnel. And things are definitely be different from RTA coming up in the Lavender Tower section. I'm actually kind of curious how those fights are gonna go. I'm assuming
there's some
you're going
really
to skip
interesting
Rock Slide.
strategies we get to do with Thrash in TAS. But we're about to see some of the best part of the TAS, like the most TAS-y part of the TAS. In my
Okay.
opinion. 'Cause
I'm
we're about to
honestly
hit
not even sure what to
Celadon.
expect.
Just like all the menuing for the like buying items.
Oh.
Yeah.
So crisp compared to RTA. You're gonna see like streaming up to really high numbers of
The
item
purple.
buys.
I'm not used to that.
Yeah, Lavender is Lavender.
Wow.
really pops out.
I do have to register a slight complaint though, because the encoders at TAS videos still use an outdated palette, like understanding of the Game Boy Color colors, so it looks like completely wrong to what the Game Boy Color was designed to look like. And I wrote a palette that's closer to the original screen, and they don't use it.
Oh, interesting. Also, does Bubble Beam not OHKO the Vulpix there?
It does not.
Oh, wow, that's
Really?
That's Thunderbolt crit instead of Bubble
Yeah.
Beam.
Vulpix has like this really tanky special stat, so you end up just using the other moves.
I figured it'd be close, but I wasn't sure. Oh, this will be cool. Are you gonna
You
get
see
the
this in
elixir
RK
top one?
actually. Some runners are confident
Yeah.
enough to do this. You get elixir from the top, and then that allows you to enter this next ladder from the top, so you never turn in this building.
Mhm.
Because if anytime you turn the first time on a map, it causes a 2-frame extra delay. They call it a turn frame.
Yeah. So you save 2 frames if you grab the elixir from the top, and you lose like 45 seconds when you miss it, and then like have to go back 3 tiles.
And
and
RTA, and then
miss it
you see
again.
all in races, and people are like fumbling around trying to find it.
I learned
Oh,
it from the top
love
actually.
that. Yeah, that was a really cool strat there. Buying 2 horn drill TMs because trying to fill the bag, and you're going to teach horn drill, so you have to buy it anyway. 2 Pokédolls, because you're going to
Yeah.
use one, and you're trying to keep the bag full.
Yeah, and it doesn't even lose 1 frame because you can buffer the up to go to the second one. It's crazy.
What the heck? What? That's crazy because you want the bag full for whenever you get TMs.
Yep.
Yeah, you need to get to the first gym leader after this gauntlet without having anything left in your bag. And you can see it going
Actually
up to
buying
7 there.
speeds.
Yeah, you buy speeds. You can get ball beam speed falls to get the same effect, but buying speeds is worth it in the current routing.
Yeah, with skipping rare candies, you're going to be quite a bit lower level than RTA, so I kind of figured some trainers would have multiple Pokemon who are faster than you, so...
Yeah. The reason that you specifically need X speed is because Horn Drill, not only do you have to get it to hit with like the 30% RNG, you also need it to, you need to be faster for it to take effect.
Yeah. Also like that little time save there. In Pokemon Yellow, if you enter the guardhouse from the bottom, it still puts you at the top. It's not the case in Red Blue, so it's like weird that it's different, but...
So you
That
save
is
a step
weird.
there, and then you bike for the Fly House here, which is faster in both Red, Blue, and Yellow.
Mhm.
That was something I discovered that actually helped RTA during the first run of this TAS.
I didn't see what you swapped to the top there, but probably something swapped to the top that will be needed later. And Horn Drill over Bubble Beam, okay. I wasn't sure what move would get deleted there.
That's another reason why we do that swap earlier. I was talking about how like you can stop for a little bit of time and get easier like move uses, but we also want to overwrite Ball Beam and not the move below it. So you save a input going down to the other input.
So even more time than if you were just using Bubble Beam the 5 times you did. And rival time. I'm going to assume we are going to see some cheese on this fight. And by cheese, I mean hitting horn drills without X accuracy.
You might see that, but you might see more cheese.
Ooh.
This is a discovery just for this specific task. So this one here is the 3rd time I did a task of Glitch. And we saved 420 frames on this rewrite.
Oh, you thrash here. Wow.
Yes. We saved 9 frames over Horn Drill forced hits by thrashing for 4 turns.
That's interesting. Is that just due to... I guess you have to get the it's a one-hit KO text every time.
Yep, and you have to enter the fight menu.
Yep. Yeah, 4-turn thrash. Like, the longer thrash, the faster it gets, like, per average per turn or whatever. So 4-turn thrash
only
is
really worth it if there's a 4-poke scenario, or if there's a
Really?
3-poke where like text boxes are involved, because that wind-up animation is so slow.
Yeah.
Huh.
The first animation just takes a long time where, like, you use thrash and you have to, like, watch your Pokemon do the, like, and then, like, start thrashing.
Oh.
When they started out. Also, I did not see you buy any repels. Man, pretty lucky here.
How does he do it?
How does he do it?
And to be clear, this is not something that you're doing just because this is in an emulator. If you watch the YouTube videos of this from my channel, this is played back on an official Game Boy player hardware. Like, there's no shenanigans from an emulator. 100% this is possible on the original game.
Yeah. Yeah, this is all manipulation. So like you literally go through like every map and you're just like, okay, how can we avoid like an encounter on this floor? Okay, we need to do this kind of RNG manipulation. We need our RNG value to be like this to get through here. And you're trying to like figure out ways to do that. I assume you're doing a couple A presses here and there, maybe not in Lavender Tower, but in some of the places.
Yeah, mostly like changing walk paths to just see NPCs at different times. But every once in a while, you try 5 different paths, and you can't possibly avoid using an A press.
And right there, that was the second forced heal of the run, which that probably the second, and there will only be 3, so we're almost done with our free heals. And one other thing that I thought was cool to mention was there's 2 elixirs that you can get in Lavender Tower, and you picked up the item ball elixir, but you didn't pick up the hidden item elixir. Item balls and hidden items have a different jingle, and the item ball is a faster jingle. So it was better to pick up the item ball elixir than the hidden one.
Yeah, and there's extra steps involved. So if we were to like not get the earlier ether and instead get that elixir here, not only would we need to worry about another thing to put in our bag, but we would also need to worry about the extra steps. It'd be like a little more than a second of time loss.
Yeah, because you're on the bike to pick up the max elixir as well.
And the max elixir and the max ether are options for bike pickups.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's definitely possible too that there might be some optimization to continue to do there because there's so many like the math for like the routing for which PB item to get is one of the more harder problems in all of math to solve.
Yeah, and especially because like scroll distances as well. It's like if you pick up this ether, it's like number 5 in the bag when we need it. If you get the max, it's like item 12. There's a lot of calculation, I'm sure, for that.
Yeah, it's extremely complicated.
Anyway, Jesse and James. This is a nice part about yellow. There's only 1 fight at the top of Lavender Tower. Red, blue, there's 3. And they're all really slow fights, too. But we're just going to hit here, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you drilled the Meowth. I guess Thunderbolt doesn't OHKO.
Well, the main reason that we're just wasting quote-unquote drills here is that we're going to center in Celadon quite quickly.
Yeah, so I totally forgot about that.
Makes sense.
Our drill count doesn't matter.
Oh, that actually works out really well that you're gonna heal in Celadon here because you didn't have to worry about any HP manipulation in Lavender Tower because you just get your 2 forced heals like back to back, so you can
So you just take a tiny bit of time loss from not having red bar on these couple of fights, but you don't have to worry about the HP setup twice. Whereas in red blue, if you were to not get red bar, then you would lose like 30 seconds through the tower itself. And so then it becomes also not worth it to do the center in Celadon, and so you just have a couple extra flies here and there.
Yeah, that like even amplifies the fact that there's 3 fights in red blue and 1 in yellow. It like makes it even better for yellow.
Yep. So there's also some optimization, like micro optimizations in the fly menus, because you can double input like that scrolling you do to go through the item bag really quickly. You can double input in the fly menus to go like boop boop boop, back and forth with left and holding down.
Yeah, so I think normally to get this Celadon, you have to hit it 3 times.
Biking to the Safari Zone. There's some fun little menuing here. We get to swap up our X speeds.
Yeah, speeds to slot 2, I figured. I wasn't sure when you would do that. Do you input stuff in the... Can you, like, input down, like, buffered inputting in yellow? I don't think you can, right?
You mean like the left-right thing? Because you can definitely do that on item bag in...
Like, throwing a ball from slot 2. Can you do that?
Yeah, the technique is slightly different. You have to do double input and not, like, the buffered.
That's what I thought. Okay, I knew it was different, but I didn't know how so. So yeah, it's a lot faster to have items in slot 1 or 2, because you can instantly buffer them. So the bike and the X speed are the items that are going to be used the most, so it's really good to have them in slots 1 and 2.
Yeah, so in the overworld, we'll see some... if we had an input viewer here, you'd see, like, you press A to use the bike, and then you add the B button to get on it, because then it presses A again. in a fight, you would do the same thing. If you had X speed in the first slot, you'd press A to use items, and then like add B to use an X speed from the first slot. But because X speed is only used 7 times and the bike is used more than that, we want the bike first and then X speed.
Yeah, it's interesting. You're not hitting A to get on the bike. You're actually hitting B. So
Also, we're not using cut here.
Yeah, another weird difference between yellow and red blue, that biking around the bushes is faster in yellow, and in red blue it's faster to use cut on the bushes.
That's actually interesting. Does that have to do with like where the Pokemon is in your party, or is it like lag based?
It's differences in the lag when you use cut.
Okay. That was so wrong. You could have avoided all that grass.
Yeah. There's like some really fun manipulation you can do here, because you're intentionally not repelling this grass, right? But if you're tasked, you can also like swag extra grass for no reason.
It was like swag grass for no reason. Yeah, it really bugged me.
Okay.
You don't always do it though. Like the RNG lining up is also important for a lot less frames.
Look at me not getting counters just to troll you.
There's an extra step of grass there.
Yeah, you're just sure. Why not? Yeah, just take a hike in there.
Are the grass tiles in Viridian Forest like exclusive to that area in the game where you just can't get encounters on those tiles?
So in yellow, that's patched out, and you don't have that weird, like stepping on specific kinds of grass mechanic.
Those tiles are in Viridian Forest and Safari Zone. Those are the 2 places you can find the flower tiles.
But apparently not in yellow.
Not in yellow, yeah. It actually it makes a difference in the yellow 129 route as well, because we're able to corner bonk on a tile that we can't corner bonk on red blue, and corner bonking is a good way to like do desum. So it's actually kind of annoying in red blue that you can't use a corner in the Safari Zone to bonk.
Yeah, biking to Koga's gym is 2 frames faster than walking. So you see some RTA runners do that, but it's really, really precise and difficult to hit.
I'll keep that in mind. I've noticed pretty much every RTA runner I watch does do it, but I didn't know it only saved 2 frames, which means you gotta be pretty quick to make it worth it.
Yeah, you have to be like literally perfect for it to be worth it, so I actually wouldn't do it in RTA. Probably.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, if you A/B buffer the bike, it's about if you can get to the item menu fast enough.
Yeah. So this is a fun fight you can do in yellow in some routes where you thrash the drowsies, but here we can thrash and crit the drowsies at like 7 lower levels. We do different gym orders in stealth order. We're like going straight to Koga because we want the speed badge boost really badly.
Yeah. Did you naturally outspeed the Kadabra at 33?
Yes. That's also something that is very precisely routed, because it would be faster to do the double Jigglypuff fight in like where you do the Gambler on the way to Celadon. It'd be faster to do a double Jigglypuff fight, but it's not, because it's less experience, and then you're not level 33 for the Kadabra.
Yeah, you wouldn't outspeed at 32. That makes sense. I was about to say that seemed a bit weird that you were able to outspeed it.
Yeah. It's just barely at 33.
Yeah. Yeah, Kadabra's a very fast Pokemon.
And now here finally we have a good setup for getting Red Bar again, because we can use Thrash on the Drowsy and Hypno. And we'll lose a turn out of this, but we'll get back in our Red Bar.
Yeah, could have Horn Drilled, I guess, the Hypno, but...
Then it also messes up your PP routing a lot. So
it's just... Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Confusion crit.
Wow.
Also keeping the Hypno just in the green bar there, to make sure.
On the Thrash, yes.
Very
observant Shen.
So he didn't do half damage with the first Thrash, did like what, 49% to keep the green bar, and then did 51% the next turn to get the kill.
Wow.
So that was a very precise.
5 frames.
Yeah, 5 frames from the Thrash, and then getting the red bar too. That was a great fight.
And we manipulate Sleep Powder being used by the Venonat because it's fastest for that Sleep Powder to miss us.
Yep. Yeah, Psychic Mist would say whatever, Psychic is missed or whatever, and Sleep Powder saying but it failed is a lot faster. And had to X-speed this fight because I think the Venonat even outspeed
level lower than a Venomoth.
Yeah, this Venomoth is very high leveled and very fast. I think it's like 112 speed or something. Or 104. Yeah, it's interesting they updated Koga's team in this game. A lot of the yellow gym leaders are updated. I think Brock and Missy are basically the same, but Brock's lower leveled. But then the rest of the gym leaders kind of have some cool updates.
And you can see our bag was full for that fight there.
Oh, yep, finally managed to get the bag full with the Surf HM.
So we can't get the TM, therefore we skip a ton of text, actually.
Yeah, RTA is able to do that too, but it's it does it in a completely different way because it has to use a lot more items.
Yeah, we need like X accuracies, X specials, X attack. I didn't think guard specs are ever used, but you get a lot of items in RTA. They repels as well. Like there's just a lot of stuff that you have.
Manipulating the person to walk there so you can go on a walk path for the water.
That was on world record pace for soft walk percent. Should have gone for it. She moved up right away.
Soft lock TAS, that's a thing.
Yeah, it is a thing. Oh, and yeah, never got a Pokemon that can learn Surf, so actually you're gonna have to teach that to Nidoking. But it's an okay attack.
Yeah, it's only used once because it has a flash animation, and there's just like one niche scenario. But yeah, the teaching Surf to Nidoking allows us to never get Lapras in Sylph.
Yeah, saves a Pokemon. So Charmander will learn Strength, and then we've already got Cut Taught. You only need 3 HMs to beat Red Blue. You only need Cut, Strength, and Surf. Fly, obviously fast. That's why we get the Pidgey. But it's nice that you don't need that many HMs in this game.
Lots of RNG and manipulation about to happen here.
So we were mentioning with the RNG manipulation for encounters earlier, this is probably gonna be one of the places with the most RNG manipulation in the run. So you'll probably see the character kind of like lag walking through here. Those are A presses. So you can see like these little tiny stalls every once in a while. He's pressing the A button to delay by 2 frames to get different encounter rates.
Yeah, sometimes, and if I'm being crisp enough, they're in like very hard to notice places.
That's what I was actually going to say, is that sometimes I do the A presses and it doesn't feel like it actually happened because I don't really notice it, but sometimes you can really see the stutter.
Yeah. It really just depends on like where you do the A press. Like if you do the A press when you're turning, I always feel like I notice it a little bit more. But if you're kind of going in like a straight line, sometimes it's a bit awkward to see.
Now there's some careful routing too here. Well, for one, avoiding the encounters as well, so we don't get the rare candies.
Yeah.
We can just straight up get this. We do have to drop the slot with Blizzard.
Yeah, you need Blizzard, but you also need a full bag, so you kind of just have to teach Blizzard here.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed you couldn't swag one of the statues in there and use that to like dodge an encounter for like a free swag.
Yeah, that would be some technically fun things. But yeah, you can't swag the buttons, I don't think.
You can in Red Blue, maybe not in Yellow. And doing Erica first. Gym order is kind of interesting in this, I feel like.
Yeah, because we rushed the mansion, now we have an ice move and we can use Blizzard on all these things.
Yeah. Yeah, 5 Blizzards and 4 of them are going to be used for this gym, I'm sure. Yeah, this gym would be kind of awful if he didn't have Blizzard. I was curious why he went to mansion that Blizzard.
I think that's done in the red-blue one, but the Erica fight has a lot higher levels in Yellow.
Yeah. She's not evolved in this game. She has Weepin' Bell and Gloom, but I think they're like 4 levels higher, something like that. I think she's level 29 in Red Blue, and I think she's like mid-30s in this.
That's Jerry, my dog, if you guys can hear that.
Yeah, no
Hi, Jerry.
deal. Jerry's hype for the Erica fight.
Oh, yeah.
He really is. Let's see these strats.
Yeah, leads the Tangela too. Yeah, that thing would be awful to KO without Blizzard, because that's 6 levels higher than Red Blue's.
Yeah, you usually have to use X special in RTA even to be able to kill these things.
Yeah. Yeah, nice clean fight. Blizzard in Gen 1, it's not 70 accuracy, it's 91% accurate. Not really sure what the decision making was on that, but Blizzard's extremely good in this game.
Yeah. Barely have to manipulate anything with the accuracy of Blizzard.
Yeah. That's part of the reason why even in RTA runs, it's used over Ice Beam. Like 91% is good enough that it's, you know, worth risking the 9% miss for the 30 damage, because it's 120 power versus Ice Beam's 95.
And we get to TAS all of these options, so we don't have to worry about accidentally selecting the wrong Blaine question.
I'm always worried about that. It's nice in yellow. They do the whole like answer the question and skip the trainer. They tell you that like every time in red blue, but in this they just get right to the questions.
Yeah, it's really monotonous to TAS this section in red blue because you have to find all these like perfect text box hits over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Fun fact, you can also swag these. Very cool. I doubt we'll see it, but
No.
if we get swag Tombstoney, I'll be pretty happy.
Can't that like screw up your step routes? Or like the RNG manipulations?
Yeah, it would if you wanted to go back and add swag in a lot of places, it would change the RNG manipulations you have to do later, because every successive thing you do in this game is dependent on everything else you did previously. So like when I did that work to make the options menu later and that extra like different animation in the Pikachu fight, all that work had to mean that we rewrote the entire rest of the task.
Jeez.
Yeah, because you can't just like get back to the same RNG seed, because you'd have to like wait the time that you saved, basically. Probably getting quick attack here, I would assume. Oh wait, yeah, you have to X speed there. Okay.
And then tail whip is a but it failed, so we get to get that little optimization.
Yeah. I forgot you're definitely gonna have to speed here. Blaine's team is very high leveled and very fast in this game.
Jeez.
Everything a little bit.
We're level 37. He's level 54.
Yeah, we have Horn Drill.
Yup.
Yeah, that fight is difficult to route in RTA, but it's actually like really straightforward in TAS.
Yeah, it's about the same.
It's so high level that the only thing you could reasonably do is drill it.
Yeah, it's like, well, we're gonna drill for sure. Maybe like Earthquake crit for like PP management, but
and we're never gonna get Earthquake in this task because we end up getting Fissure as a replacement later.
Yeah.
Why did you turn up there?
Turn up?
Yeah, like right before, like you were like facing the Pokemon Center right before you hopped on the bike.
That's the side effect of using Dig out of the gym.
Okay. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I think Dig just... I don't know if it's random, but I think you just kind of like face a random direction when you dig out of somewhere.
So now you're the usual level you are when you enter Self here, but only because you're doing it way later.
Yeah, things are a bit different here.
That's actually pretty necessary because we're gonna need a lot of Thunderbolt crits to hit like really hard ranges, and the extra will help a lot.
There's another elixir. It kind of makes sense, like the way you kind of did this with doing the really hard gyms earlier, and that enough levels so that you can use moves like Thunderbolt for these fights, because using Oko moves for some of these Pokemon, 1 would waste a lot of PP, and 2 is a little bit slower.
Yeah, and you'd have to use a lot more X speeds without having the speed badge boost from Koga.
Yeah, Koga specifically is really nice to get out of the way for the speed badge boost.
And we can remember also, when you use an X speed, it raises the stats of all of your other stats, not the speed too. It gives you the usual like stage boost to your speed, but because of the Gen 1 badge boost mechanic, it also gives you a reapplication of your attack boost, your special boost, and your defense boost.
Yeah, you don't get the reapplied stat boost to the stat that you're boosting as far as the badge boosts are concerned, but you do get all your other stats. Could mention badge boosts. What we're referring to is you have an invisible 9/8 boost to attack, speed, special, and defense when you get certain badges. So, for example, Brock gives you the attack badge boost, Koga for speed, Blaine for special, and Surge for defense. So when you have those,
you tell you happens.
yeah. Yeah, the game tells you completely wrong info. What I told you was correct. But yeah. With those badges, you get those boosts, it's 9/8, but whenever your stats get changed, it reapplies the badge boosts. So if you get growled, you become faster if you have Koga's badge. And those badge boosts go away if you level up in battle, if you switch out, if the fight ends, or if you get KO'd. So there's a lot of planning around that. So you might see like using an X speed to boost the special stat to do more damage, like Thunderbolt, for example. I'm not sure if that's going to be in the TAS, but there might be some situations where that does come into play.
So what we saw there was we used an elixir on the Ninetales to give it a turn to quick attack us so that we would manage our red bar. And then we surfed it because we also are like just exactly one short on Horde Drill PP to be able to use that on the Ninetales. So we have to take a second of time loss to use that surf instead of getting a shake animation.
Yeah, I think it's 52 frames for a shake versus a flash animation, plus the super effective text. So it's actually a lot of time to surf that.
It's just unfortunate that the routing doesn't work out better. Like, you could get a PP up on the cycling road and use that, but it's not useful for any other scenario, so you just lose a couple seconds.
Yeah, it's better to take the second loss here than wasting 7 seconds picking up a PP up and using it.
But the red bar management with that quick attack will also help us get some really nice time save in the end game. One of the previous tasks I did of this, I had to take damage from Agatha because of the way that the routing worked out with red bar. But this routing is going to let us take extra damage on the Ninetales on Viridian Rival, and then we'll be able to get Agatha to Gen 1 miss us.
It's interesting that ends up being faster.
Yeah, like the manipulation of Gen 1 misses just to save time is pretty hilarious. Like, it's not even that you need to not take the damage, you're just like, it's faster to get the text that way.
Yeah. And on to Giovanni. Giovanni's actually like a lot scarier in yellow than red blue because he has a Persian.
Ooh.
And the Persian has Growl, which is really annoying, but again, in a TAS, criticals are a nice thing that can happen rarely, but you know.
Yeah, we've hit level 40 now, so we have really high like base damage.
Mm-hmm.
And we can do things like thunderbolting a Persian, which you would never even think of doing in RTA.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you have to waste a Blizzard on this Rhyhorn. If Thunderbolt could hit it, it probably would just go hit.
And we Blizzard the Nido Queen as well, because it's super effective.
Yeah. Move management is probably so crazy here.
Yeah, pretty soon we're going to be getting less super effective things because we'll not need that extra boost of damage, and it'll just be about like we're going to use this Oko move because it's not like super or ineffective against this thing, and then we'll use the other Oko move because we'll have Fissure and Horde Drill.
Yeah, that's really funny. Yeah, you still get super effective and not very effective text with Oko moves. So sometimes you might want to switch up which Oko move you're using based off that text.
Yep. And it's faster to bike to Sabrina here than flying to Saffron from Celadon. Little micro optimization. It's possible to do a route that gets that optimization in RTA, but it's not used right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even with all the like loading lag, it's still faster to bike. Sabrina also changed in yellow, but one of the only trainers that is like easier, quote unquote, in yellow. She has the Alakazam, and it got like 8 more levels, but she leads an Abra that only has Flash and Teleport.
It's level 50? Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, a level 50 Abra with only 2 moves. She could have taught it Psychic, but she didn't. I don't know why.
We get to manipulate but it failed text from the Flash every time. Yeah. Whereas RTA has to like pray for that, or you lose 2 seconds on this split.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you Earthquake this fight in RTA. So if you get hit by Flash, you have to use the X accuracy.
I think you still drill the Zam though, right? You Earthquake.
Oh, yeah, you do. Never mind. Yeah, you do still accuracy this fight. I forgot.
Yeah.
You used to not, I think, in one iteration of the route. I might be wrong though.
No, I
Or
guess
go
we're gonna
onto
use the
one of
warp
these
pads.
teleporter pads so that the dig animation is faster because it flings you up out of the gym.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that. It's really cool.
Yeah, I always wondered why that was the case. I think it has something to do with if you're on that tile and like it tells you to warp, it just uses that animation.
Yeah, it must have like the same routines used for warping animations.
Mm-hmm. Also, that was really cool there. Using the max ether to get the horn drills to beat the gym, but also get the item space to get fissure, because this is the only gym leader TM that's useful to us, other than the early ones that we got.
So that's why we have that max ether specifically from earlier in the run, because we need it to not be an elixir so that it drops a slot when we use it.
Yeah, that was actually really cool.
Yeah.
It's higher up too. Like, it was nice that it wasn't that far down in the bag.
Yeah.
This next fight's gonna be very funny for RTA runners who've lost like 20 runs to this. Just
Yeah.
crit thunderbolts.
Oh yeah,
and-
just go into Black Belt at 21 with no save, no big deal.
This fight's like a nightmare in RTA speedrunning, because you just go into this fight and you can't OHKO the Machokes straight up on turn 1, but in a TAS you can critical and everything's easy.
You can even crit Thunderbolt. You don't even need to worry about using Blizzard.
Yeah,
Wow.
Machokes are like pretty frail. It's interesting how like easily they go down here. Thunderbolt non-crit might even kill this Machop. Oh, still needs the crit.
I think you need 1 or 2 more levels for the non-crit.
Oh, yeah, I forgot how low level you are, right? Yeah, you're 42 here.
Yeah. Like earlier, we were just talking about like, oh, we're so high level right now, and now since we went straight from Sylph to Giovanni, it's like, oh, we're really low level for this part.
Yeah.
because usually you would do all the other gyms after doing Sylph.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're gonna
Yeah,
exit the
real-
gym, and go back in just to reset all of the enemy positions, just to walk right through to the end.
Spinning pad's bad. Especially
Yes, they're so slow.
Yeah, I can't
Mhm.
remember how many times, like in trying to like learn routing for these games, that I was like, oh, let's just use the spin pads, and then you skip this trainer, and then it's like, actually, oh, well, what do you do after you leave Giovanni? You're stuck, and you have to use the spin pads again.
Yeah, if you could dig out of Giovanni's gym, we might take the spin pads.
Yeah.
Because it might be faster to like go in and like fly back
It's
to
also like ridiculous that you would go into this fight at 21. You get guard spec minute because it's faster than any of the moves being used.
Yeah, Giovanni normally is 75%, or there's 4 things he can do against Nidoking because good AI. It's Fissure, Dig, Earthquake, or Guard Spec. And you want Fissure normally because you're gonna act speed and be faster, and if you're faster, he can't hit you with Fissure. But if you get Earthquake or Dig and he crits you, you just lose the run. So this is like one of the scarier fights in the yellow speedrun. But in TAS, you just get Guard Spec and then destroy him with Horn Drill and Blizzard, potentially.
You even drill the right on because you don't care so much about the ineffective text.
Yeah.
If you
Oh,
use
right.
Blizzard,
Fissure
you'll have to
here.
get a super effective text.
Yeah, I forgot you need the Fissure TM here, so you'll be teaching that for the Verdian Rival.
So we're not going to need to refill our PP. We'll have the Fissure PP for that fight, and then we'll refill it as part of one of our other menus for biking on the way to the Elite Four.
Yeah,
On the Indigo Plateau.
almost time. Yeah, only 6 fights left in the game at this point, but they're all pretty hard fights, and there's probably some really cool strats to be used.
Yeah,
That's
there's going to be some really intricate things going on. So we also haven't taught strength yet because the optimal place to teach it is as part of this scroll down to use Fissure.
Oh, that's so cool! Teaching it over Dig, that's awesome.
Yeah, because we're never going to use Dig again.
Makes sense, yeah.
And that way you don't have to like press down when you're going into the move menu to use it. You'd have to actually press down 4 different times if strength is in slot 2 of Charmander's moveset.
I'm excited to see how you use Fissure to make it so broken.
Oh, you'll see, bro. There's gonna be some broken stuff going on.
Okay.
Yeah, Fissure's just ground type Horn Drill, so it's gonna be pretty broken having 2 OHKO moves on the Nidoking instead of just 1. Yeah, Rival with 6 Pokemon, so gonna have to not Fissure something.
Shen's thinking ahead, and we're blizzarding the sand slab.
Blizzard crit the sand. Oh, just blizzard.
Oh, not even crit.
Yeah, sand slab blizzard.
And Fisher.
Now the
Kinda
unfortunate
sad.
side effect is it's not very effective against execute. So because it's a ground type move, it's gonna be super effective against the Magneton. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
super effective one hit KO move.
Yeah, super effective against Ninetales. You have to just deal with the text because it's faster than ethering the
Oh
the
yeah.
horn drill.
Yeah.
Oh, speeding on the Ninetales.
And the quick attack to 4 HP.
Yeah. This is
That's
also swag HP strats because like we could get deeper with the quick attack, but we don't need to because that'll get us exactly the HP we need to get all the way through the last rival, the champion.
Is it slower to take more damage? Does it take like longer to scroll
Yeah.
down?
Yeah, it takes a time to scroll down, like depending on how much of the HP bar has to be eliminated.
Yeah, so it is a little bit faster potentially to live on 4 than live on 1.
Yeah, makes sense. So many little
Yeah.
things in a task that you have to think about.
Like manipulating that grass there.
Yeah. Yeah, not getting encounters in the grass.
There's
I think,
also this weird thing where sometimes on text boxes, like we're talking to these guards here, anytime there's the final text box of a paragraph, it can disappear like extra quickly, and you actually have to like sometimes mash during the text box, which usually causes delays, but sometimes it can actually make the text box able to be cleared earlier too, for those like last paragraph text boxes. So there's some like really weird stuff you have to watch for in tasks with like the precision of how you clear text boxes.
Yeah. How many elixirs do you have? Do you have 2 elixirs right now?
I want to say we have 2 more because we're going to need to use one of them on the bike menu, and then we're going to need to use another one in the E4.
Okay, yeah. So you're gonna have 20 Oko moves for the E4. I'm curious what doesn't get Oko moved. The Onyxes seem pretty obvious, but it'll be interesting to see what else. Maybe like
What
the Blitz-
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
If you need to hit, I think the second PP move is used after the third fight.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, there's Charmander's strength on top.
Mm-hmm.
It's
And
convenient
also,
not
nicknaming Charmander is used in tasks, whereas you wouldn't normally
yeah.
do that in RTA, because it has all 3 of the moves: cut, dig, and strength.
Yeah, so it's better to nickname it so you don't have to see its name over and over. I'm hoping for some swag boulders because you can use it for RNG manipulation too.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Or maybe it doesn't do it at all. We'll never know. Until like
Yeah,
2 minutes.
I have a feeling we may see some swag boulders. It makes too much sense. I'm being too logical here. I'm just so hopeful. Also, yellow lag. Enjoy. This is
Oh my gosh.
yellow exclusive lag.
Yeah, this boulder pushing takes an eon because
Yeah.
of extra lag.
This
Yellow.
room in particular, it's like extremely laggy. I think it's because there's like 3 item balls, a bunch of trainers, and Moltres.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of sprites that have to be loaded. There's a really cool glitch you can do in yellow. If you have 4 boulders on the screen and Pikachu, Pikachu disappears because it can't have 5 of those sprites loaded at the same time. So there's like a neat little glitch you can do in yellow. I always found it kind of funny.
Yeah, that's just like a hardware limitation, right? Like there's only so many
Yeah.
sprites you can put on the screen.
Yeah, I can only load 4 at once, so the 5th sprite gets deleted, which is usually Pikachu.
Hey.
There's a slag.
There's one. Alright.
Yeah, this often ends up being a really annoying place to have to do RNG minute because you could be getting encountered this entire time you're doing all this movement. And so you have to very carefully plan out when you're going to either do pauses or swag boulders or stuff to
Yeah.
avoid the encounters.
Let it be known, chat, that was an optimal swag boulder.
Oh, yes. Now this is a fun
Flashbang.
menu here.
Strength. Oh, that's really cool.
And then you can use double inputs to get
Yeah.
between the elixir and the bike.
That was really cool.
Yeah, it was nice having elixirs in slot 3 for that, because you were able to do that with effectively like no time loss.
Mhm.
And I'm guessing you're gonna do something pretty similar again, because you still have elixirs in slot 3. Alright, finally got the boulder pushed. And it is time for E4. It's kind of interesting you haven't had to use any healing items either throughout this run to manipulate like HP. Just managed to do it all without any healing.
Yeah, you do it all with attack.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's faster than
Oh,
deposit.
no, really?
Nice swag PC at the end there.
I see you.
I'm surprised that's faster to deposit both.
It is faster to do the deposits.
Yeah, I thought with 2 it was usually... Well, I guess it's about the same, and with perfect inputs, TAS would probably be faster. Alright, time for some YOLO, starting with YOLO Lorelei. Going in at like 3 HP.
Definitely something you don't see very often.
Under
This is
leveled
another
as
where I
hell.
joke and say, we gotta get rest here, but I mean, why bother with rest when you can just kill it?
Yeah, we don't even use X accuracy or X speed because of
Mhm.
the... Yeah, we're like already faster than everything.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're faster than Jinx, actually. That's probably a little close.
Probably a little close, yeah.
Jinx has 120 speed. I'm curious how much speed you have. Yeah, pretty easy fight here. Going with Horn Drill, do you swap Horn Drill and Fissure for like each fight?
No.
Okay, so you keep it in the same order.
Yeah. We do use Fissure on Jinx because there's one Pokemon where we would have to get a super effective text if we instead used Drill on the... So we can use Fissure twice here because we can stay on Fissure after
Yeah.
Fissure the Jinx. So it's only
Yeah.
7 frames lost to switching moves. And then we're going to save a whole text box later because of having extra drills.
Yeah, you need, was it three Fissures, 2 Drills for Agatha, I'm assuming?
I think 4 Fissures and a drill for Agatha.
Oh, you Fissure the Arbok, interesting.
No, you're right. It is 3 Fissures. And a,
Yeah, okay, so that's where you save the text box. That makes
on the
sense.
Arbok.
Yeah, okay, so that way you skip the super effective text.
Yeah, so they Blizzard the Onyx here.
And I'm assuming you also Blizzard the Hitmonchan.
Oh, yeah.
These things in Gen 1 have less special bulk than, I think, even Caterpie. They're weaker than specially.
They're so little.
Hitmons are just like actually garbage. They have 30 special, which makes
Oh.
them like horrible to special moves.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are easily KO'd by Blizzard.
Yeah. But by the time you become a champ, its HP is so high that you can't quite kill it with Blizzard, so you have to go back to drilling it.
Yeah,
That's why you have
to
2
drill. You could fissure it, but you need the fissures to even hit the ghosts on Agatha.
Yeah, which is why we get Fissure.
Mm-hmm.
If we didn't need to hit the
Oh.
ghost,
Right, yeah, you're gonna horn, or you're able to Blizzard crit the Golbat. Right, so that's the last one. Okay, I was trying to think where you could save an Oko move, but I guess it's the Golbat. That ends up working out perfectly then. That's actually really cool.
3 fights because each is 5, and you just have to like change which ones are using which moves on.
Yeah, nice.
Like Gen 1 missed there.
Yeah, it works out perfectly.
Purple Gengar looks
Yeah,
really
it's,
cool.
Okay.
There's the but it failed text if you manipulate like I think it's sleep something. What is it? Is it hypnosis? There's a but it failed text, but there's a wind up animation for some reason when but it failed happens on hypnosis. So it ends up being faster to manipulate a longer text message.
Is that the
That's
only move like that?
I think so.
Huh.
Definitely the only move you would see like that in the run. Maybe there's other moves, but that's really interesting. And perfectly out of moves. Yeah, I was wondering, because you effectively have 15 moves for this segment, and you have to KO 15 Pokemon. So it's interesting how it works out perfectly, because like you have to think, okay, where can I use my 5 Blizzards? And it's like, well, none on Lorelei, obviously. And then it's like, okay, well, the Onyxes are obvious. The Hitmons, yeah, that makes sense. And it just so happens that Agatha's Golbat goes down. It worked out, like, actually perfectly.
And this is also like absolutely insane. if you were an RTA and walking straight into Lance at something 20-something HP.
Yeah, Lance is even scarier for RTA runners in yellow because the Dragonairs have Ice Beam, or I think one of them does.
First one has Ice Beam and the second one has Hyper Beam.
Yeah, so in red blue they both have agility and that's the only move they can use against you, but in yellow they can actually use other moves because they have other super effective moves.
Straight into drilling the Gyarados, so you already outspeed it even.
That's nuts.
You're not
Dragonairs because they're not flying; they're just dragons.
I'm
like
really
little
curious
worms.
about the Pterodactyl. What's about to happen? I feel like Blizzard Crit might kill.
Well.
Oh my! You surf it? Oh, Blizzard, right? You double input it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say that looked like you picked surf there. Yeah, so
that would have been
Blizzard save.
Yeah, so we don't need to outspeed anything else. So we don't use X speed. We just give the one half turn to the Aerodactyl to Hyper Beam miss.
Yeah, that's actually a really cool fight. And you saved enough PP to be able to use Oko moves on the champion, because, again, you have 10 Oko moves, and there's 11 Pokemon on these two fights, so you had to save an Oko move at least somewhere, and you saved 2 there, which is nice.
Yep.
So you can avoid super effective text by having Horn Drills instead of needing to use Fissure.
Yeah, if you'd have to use more of the fissures on this next fight, it would cause even more, like, weirdness with extra super effective text.
Yeah, and the biggest thing about this fight is animations turn on, and luckily for us, Horn Drill's animation is super fast.
That is the most important thing, yeah.
Yeah, so having 4 Horn Drills is going to save a ton of time here.
Oh yeah, that's not bad.
Gonna lose some time to Fissure, but it's not that bad at least. Speeding on the Alakazam, probably Kinesis miss. Perfect.
But it failed. Oh yeah.
Yeah. If that hits you, it loses a little bit of time, and that, like, you don't give this thing a turn in RTA, but, like, if you did for whatever reason, you'd have to get Kinesis and hope it misses. Otherwise, you just die. Executor is usually what you set up on in RTA.
Yup.
Hypnosis miss, you just wait for it.
At this point in the TAS, Kevin's hands were shaking. He was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it.
I don't know if I'm going to hit the 420th frame, guys. I might not get there. I might only be 419th frame. It was actually pretty close, though. So we're going to see like a really nice little extra optimization at the end when we get our time checked in the Hall of Fame, where we saved an extra full minute of the Hall of Fame time, just because of the extra like couple frames we saved in this
That's
task.
really cool. Yeah, it's interesting how the RTA timer works in this game. It's very weird. For example, Pikachu's cry. When Pikachu's doing its cry for being sent out in battle, that doesn't affect your in-game time. So, for example, if you get more encounters with Pikachu, then you would save time, in-game time, compared to somebody who gets like less with Pikachu.
Yeah, and that strat with getting rid of the animation early also is really big for in-game time, because that extra 20 frames that you have to spend putting data in and out of the rival name isn't part of when the in-game time is counting.
In-game time starts when you get control.
And then when do I stop the timer on the fade out?
So in TAS, you would hit time on the text box clear here when you talk to Oak. So just about now.
Okay.
But then RTA would cut at the fade out.
Yeah, it's last input for TAS.
Okay.
Usually, at least.
Cool.
So yeah, that 133 time was a minute faster than 134 on the last attempts I was doing for the task of this.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That was really fun to watch. That was really sick. Awesome work on that, Kevin.
I really appreciate you bringing me on to show it off.
Dude, I'm so happy I was able to have you and Shen on here. You guys did an amazing job with commentary. Like, I just learned so much as somebody that's getting into the Gen 1 games like now, really looking more in depth on them. But it was interesting to see the differences even with Pokemon Yellow, which is supposed to be pretty much the same game, but there's still a lot of routing differences that you had done. That was awesome. But yeah, guys, go check out Shenanigans and TIKevin83. Their links aren't in the description yet, but if you're watching the VOD later, they will be. So go check out their Twitch channels, their YouTube channels. They make great Pokemon speedrunning related content. So awesome stuff. And hey, maybe we'll have them again on here some other time. I would love to have them again. So, but with that being said, we are going to go ahead and go to a brief intermission, and we're going to be back with a Spyro 3 any % task. Now, this is going to be much shorter than the task that we just watched. It's only about just over 20 minutes long, and it is extremely fast paced. It's one of my favorite tasks I've ever seen. So I'm really looking forward to showing that one off. But again, just give us about 5 minutes to get prepared here. Wait, what would you say?
No Spyro bias, right?
Yeah.
No Spyro bias whatsoever. So, you know, I'll see you guys here in like 5 minutes. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you again, guys. Peace.